Hello. Thank you for visiting the Other Woman and Man Stories channel. Don't forget to subscribe. And here we go. Emily was 7 years younger than her future husband John. She was only 19 and very young and inexperienced in relationships. Emily studied excellently at the local college, dreaming of getting into a prestigious university. She was always busy, taking additional courses and spending a lot of time in the library with textbooks. Emily simply didn't have time to party in clubs or date guys because of her studies. One day after classes, Emily went with her classmates to a cafe to grab a bite. There she saw 26-year-old John for the first time, who was sitting with his friends at the next table. He immediately noticed the petite blonde with big blue eyes. When Emily walked by, John introduced himself and treated her to coffee. That's how it all began. John turned out to be a serious and reliable young man, which impressed the student Emily. He worked as a manager at a large company. After 3 months, they were already dating, and after another 6 months, John proposed to the girl under an old willow in the park near her home. Emily happily agreed, as she dreamed of a serious relationship. At first, Emily's mom tearfully begged her daughter to give herself time to think and finish college. John agreed to wait for the wedding until the end of her studies. Immediately after graduating from college, Emily began preparing for the wedding. She couldn't wait to boast to her friends that she was the first to get married. Emily was enthralled with organizing the celebration, choosing a dress, flowers, and decorations. Even though the budget was small, Emily considered this day the happiest in her life. At first, their married life really did seem like a fairy tale. Emily happily met her husband after work, cooked dinner for him, created coziness in their rented apartment on the outskirts of town. John's friends were amazed that such a young girl turned out to be such an exemplary wife. A year after the wedding, Emily began to show her other, previously hidden side of her character. Before, she was a quiet, modest, and obedient girl, absorbed in her studies. But in marriage, Emily relaxed and wanted to make up for the lost fun of her youth. Emily began asking John more often to let her go to a nightclub on weekends. She said she wanted to have some fun and dance with her friends. Sometimes Emily returned home at dawn, tired and tipsy. Emily also often took John's car. It happened that she would be gone for a whole day and return in the evening in a cheerful mood. Emily explained this by saying that she was shopping or visiting friends. John initially reacted calmly and did not forbid Emily to have fun and walk around, thinking that she was compensating for the fact that she was constrained by her studies in her youth. However, over time, John began to get angry as Emily began to spend a lot of time having fun outside the home. One weekend, Emily asked John for permission to take his car to go shopping and meet a friend. John didn't object, as she had taken the car before and always used it carefully. When Emily returned in the evening, John immediately noticed a small dent on the right door of the car. When asked how this happened, Emily assured him that she had clipped the parking lot fence near the store, but she hadn't noticed the damage herself. However, this incident kept nagging John. He was afraid Emily might have accidentally damaged someone else's car and driven away. Just in case, he decided to check the data from the dash cam that was installed in the car. John took out the flash drive from the dash cam, plugged it into his laptop, and began viewing the footage from that day. The first shots did not arouse suspicion. Emily gets into the car and drives around town, goes to the car wash and the mall. Then John saw a broad-shouldered brunette get into the car next to the mall and passionately kiss Emily. John froze in shock. He was no longer interested in how the dent got on the car. He continued watching. Emily chatted happily with this stranger. They were clearly close. And when the car finally stopped in a deserted place, Emily gathered her hair in a ponytail, unzipped the man's pants, and lowered her head. By the man's face, it was clear what she was occupied with. John was shaking with rage. What a scoundrel! How could she do this to me? I loved her, trusted her, and she betrayed me with this villain. He felt disgraced, humiliated, and abandoned. He wanted to find this guy and beat him up. But even more, John dreamed of taking revenge on Emily herself. She had to feel the same pain he was feeling now. Fortunately, she didn't know the dash cam was recording video in both directions, not just the road, but also what was happening inside the car. Otherwise, one can only guess how much longer her husband would have remained ignorant while Emily continued to cheat on him. The plan for revenge ripened in his mind instantly. At night, John edited together a video from the dash cam recording, took his wife's phone, and uploaded this hot video to it. On social media, he sent this video to all her acquaintances, friends, and even parents with the caption, "One more satisfied customer. Only $15 and I will give the same pleasure to you." At first, he felt a little uneasy about it and started thinking that maybe he shouldn't have done it. But then came the realization that now she would feel as bad as he did, maybe even worse. In the morning, he went to work, leaving Emily to deal with the consequences. When John returned, Emily was sobbing on the phone with her mother. "I'm not a prostitute. I don't know who did this. I didn't even know how was this filming." Seeing her husband's satisfied face, Emily immediately realized everything. She hung up the phone and rushed at him with her fists. John grabbed her hands and pushed her away from him. "What have you done?" Emily sobbed. "You're the one who should answer that question," John said coldly. "How long has this been going on? How long have you been cheating on me?" "Not long, 6 months," Emily replied. John was horrified by such impudence. 6 months. For 6 months, his beloved wife had been sleeping with another man and said it wasn't long. He looked at Emily in disbelief as she kept reading incoming messages about the video. "You've ruined my life. Do you understand that?" Emily said. John laughed. "And when you were pleasuring your lover in the car, what were you thinking about? Are you sure it was me who ruined your life?" His wife sat before him with swollen, tear-filled eyes and smeared makeup. His phone vibrated in his pocket. His mother-in-law's name flashed on the screen. John picked up the phone and didn't even have time to say anything before a stream of words poured out about poor Emily. Who could have done this to her? Who could have played such a mean trick on her? Emily's mom sighed. The man indifferently replied that he did not know who did it, but after this video, he could no longer live in marriage with Emily and was filing for divorce. Having said that, John hung up the phone. He looked contemptuously at the crying Emily and went out on the balcony to breathe some air, giving her 20 minutes to pack up her things. It was warm and sunny outside, spring was in bloom, but John had no eye for the beauty of nature. He thought about how Emily had disgraced him and betrayed his trust. Their marriage was irreparably destroyed. 20 minutes later, the front door slammed and Emily ran out of the entrance, cursing loudly and flipping John off with obscene gestures. Now she looked like an embittered shrew, not the sweet girl he had married. John just smiled bitterly. He did not regret what he had done because Emily deserved such shame. After the steamy video hit the internet, Emily's life went downhill fast. She fell into severe depression, stayed home all day crying, refusing to even talk to her parents. Many friends turned away from Emily. Even her best friends stopped communicating with her and even blocked her on social media. Realizing that she could not get out of the quagmire of shame in this town, Emily decided to drastically change her life. She packed up her things and moved to another state. There, Emily got a job at a local office and rented a small apartment. Gradually, she began to come out of her depression and even met some new people. Of course, the past left its mark on her soul forever. But the move gave Emily a chance to start life with a clean slate. The breakup with Emily turned out to be very painful for John as well. For a long time, he could not recover from the shock and resentment brought on by her betrayal. John became withdrawn, began to see his friends less often, and spent whole days at work just to distract himself from his worries. But time heals everything. In a year later, John met a nice girl named Ashley at a colleague's birthday party. Ashley worked in the neighboring office and made a good impression on him with her sincerity and kindness. They started dating, talking a lot and sharing their interests. Ashley helped John believe in love and trust again. Their relationship was built on understanding and caring for each other. With her, John felt happy and loved. Of course, John sometimes wondered how his life would have turned out if Emily hadn't betrayed him. But the past cannot be changed. The main thing is that now he has a person who sincerely loves him and whom John can completely trust. And that brought him joy. That's the story. Share your thoughts in the comments about this situation and the behavior of the spouses. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and be sure to like this video. It will greatly help promote the channel. Take care and have a wonderful day.